lads and lasses, how are we all today? We've got Mourinho'S press conference to Zoom because he didn't actually. It's that period of time where Mourinho'S hit or miss with press conferences. He does some, he misses some. The last match in the Serie A that we played against Udinese, Mourinho didn't have a press conference because the team was in the Netherlands and didn't get back to Rome. So he's been missing a few press conferences, but he's back for this one. He's back for a very important match for us to keep. Good sign in this league, in this tournament, which, as we always say, is one of our biggest objectives this season. And obviously, Mourinho is the boss of this team, and everything that will come in these upcoming matches is all in his head, potentially. We can put it that way. His lineup, for example. So he is the first person to relate to if we want to know some information about it. So without further ado, let's get cracking with the press conference. Obviously, smash the like button in the live stream if you haven't already. And let's get cracking with the first question, which is a very important question, nothing related with football, because the first question is, before delving into the themes of the Roma against Vitesse match, what are your reflections on what is happening in the world? Because the images provided to us are very disturbing. Now, I probably think it the same way as Mourinho. Political things should be completely kicked away from football, but unfortunately there is a limit to everything. And what's going on in the world right now is drastic, dramatic, and especially in this century, in these times, it's absolutely disastrous. So this is what Mourinho says. I'll be very objective and pragmatic. Stop the war, this and all the others. If I have to repeat it every day, I will. I don't talk about politics publicly, even if it interests me. But saying it, shouting it, repeating a stop to the war must always be done. So obviously I'm not going to comment this because the only thing to say is that it's a good mention, it's a good reminder, to have a few prayers, a few thoughts. People who are suffering in this conflict, and that is basically the only comment which this quote brings, which is a sort of introduction, very important introduction to this press conference, because it is way more important than football. What is going on in Ukraine, right now? So definitely mentioning them and thinking about them is very, very important in these tough times. Now, the real juicy part of the press conference, what we want to know about the match against Vitesse, what Mourinho has come to this press conference for, is questions for Vitesse. So, as much as it was a very good way to start the press conference, this is from now on, we've got the questions which interest Mourinho and which will give us hints for tomorrow's match. So the second question, which a journalist asked Mourinho, is, he always told us that he thinks game after game. But this is the week of the derby, aka the most important match of the season. Does Vitesse remain more important, or is the head already at Lazio? I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but Mourinho says the only game that interests me today on a Wednesday is the one with Vitesse. There is no Lazio that holds. If we win or draw tomorrow, we're in the quarterfinals. If we lose, we're out. It's as simple as that. So the only game which interests me right now, lucky Formula 1 starting in a couple of weeks, because that moron's back running around the neighborhood. There is no Lazio that holds. If we win or draw, we're in the quarterfinals. If we lose, we're out. The only game that interests me is this. This just puts to mind, once again, that the biggest mistake, which Mourinho in a way is kind of alarming to his own players, thank God they'll listen to this press conference, but Mourinho is alarming them, because the biggest mistake that the players can do tomorrow is underestimate, is think about Lazio, underestimate Vitesse, and lose, and basically get out of the Conference League. Because unfortunately, it's it's just the reality of this team. You're never secure of a result you get. And frankly speaking, yes, we do have a small advantage, but it's not a massive advantage, especially now that the away goal rule is abolished. It is an advantage, but it's not an advantage at the same time. Because if we play like we played against Udinese, I think Vitesse can easily score 2 against us tomorrow. And that does mean that we're out without even going to extra time. So Mourinho is alarming the players here. Be careful. It is the week we're playing Lazio. It is the week of the derby. And as much as the attention can lead and can trick you to think about that match, we have an obstacle which we need to surpass before getting to the derby. And this obstacle is the Conference League, is Vitesse. So we cannot allow ourselves to start immediately thinking about Lazio, because if we do, it's a massive risk when it comes to our mental approach. This is why I think we need to kind of forget about Lazio, if you see what I mean. We need to just, when is Lazio? Just absolutely get a sort of detox of our mind and only focus on Vitesse. Because I think, once again, if we win against Vitesse, then it will have a knock-on effect on Lazio, and the match against Lazio can be more positive for us. Don't get me wrong, after Vitesse the players will get tired again. But if we were to win against Vitesse, if we were to get in the next round of the Conference League beating Vitesse, that would prepare us mentally and, psychologically for Lazio. But the biggest mistake we can do is think about Lazio immediately. If we do that, we are absolutely morons. We are morons. We cannot think about Lazio now. We can think about Lazio tomorrow as soon as the match ends. But today, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, no, we cannot. Because it will play I think the mental approach tomorrow will play a massive part. If we start ignoring and start, forgetting all that, if we don't give a good mental approach to tomorrow's match, it doesn't take that much time for Vitesse to haunt us. Because once again, we don't have a massive advantage. Yes, we won 1-0. But 1, the advantage is not massive. And 2, we didn't perform well against Vitesse when we played against them. So Vitesse know how they can damage us this time. They know our weak points. And the second legs of every match, not just Roma, of every single match. Look at Real Madrid. The PSG won the first round. Real Madrid, know they haven't experimented with their weak points. And then they won 3-1. Look at Inter Milan. They did not get through, but they won at Anfield. They found out the weak points of Liverpool. Look at Ajax. Benfica drew 2-2 against Ajax, conceded 2 goals, found out his weakest points, and got through to the next round. So the second legs of matches is always the more delicate one, because the team, aka Vitesse, know how we play. And we need to kind of trick their mind as well, because we need to play better. We are capable of playing better than what we played last week against Vitesse, but we just need to do it. If we don't, and if we play the same way like we played against Udinese, or even against Vitesse last week, they know how to haunt us, and a goal will come. And we don't have a massive advantage. The second they score a goal, we are obligated to score another one, because otherwise it's extra time. And if a mistake then happens and we give them a second goal, they're off. It's a very fragile match tomorrow. We have an advantage. We need to keep the advantage and do not think about Lazio already. Right, so second to last question is by the way, Rui Patricio was with Mourinho in this press conference. I mean, he didn't say much, to be honest with you. So I'm not gonna examine what he said. This is Mourinho's press conference. Rui Patricio was with him. Rui Patricio said a couple of things, not much. The second question is about the new rule, which is the away goal, which is important because we need to feel how Mourinho feels about this, if you see what I mean. Because I think managers have different plans now. So by asking Mourinho how he feels about this new rule, we can sort of get the new mental approach that the players will have, because it's completely different now. So, question is, do you like the new rule that no longer provides for away goals, and do you find it fair? I don't know if it's more or less right. It can change the profile of matches a bit. Ajax made a nice draw in Lisbon, but despite this, Benfica went to Amsterdam without the need to score. They were able to control without risk. Before a team that drew at home by conceding goals knew they had to face the second leg at a disadvantage. We didn't think too much about the result in the first leg with Vitesse. Our only goal last week was to win and to get an advantage to then enter the second leg in the best way possible. We know that with a draw, we would be in the quarterfinals, but we won't and will not approach the match looking for a draw. We want to win. Thinking like this one thinks less of this rule. And I think he's right. I mean, not that any other manager would have said something different, but I totally agree with him. The fact that tomorrow we're going at the Olympico to win and not draw, despite the fact that with a draw we're through to the next round. Basing ourselves on a draw tomorrow could be even more risky than already thinking about Lazio. Because the fact that we don't have top quality players, the fact we don't have Messi and those style of players, means that if we lay ourselves and if we all depend on a draw, things can very easily go wrong. Don't get me wrong, we do have an advantage, right? We won 1-0. And as Mourinho said, our objective last week was to win and to get an advantage to then enter this second leg. But he is completely right when he says that we cannot depend ourselves on a draw. Don't get me wrong, we're through to the next round with a draw. But basing ourselves and, just walking along the plank of a draw is extremely risky. Because we've seen over the course of the season that this is not a team which changes the approach to matches during a match. I mean, I always say this. You can see and you can probably predict the final result of a Roma match after the first 20 minutes. If the team presses, if the team tackles, if the team defends well, if the team's attack, if the team shoots, then a win is guaranteed. But this is one of those teams where if the first 20 minutes of the match, or let me go get a coffee, where's the closest Starbucks, I'm gonna sleep a bit, I'm probably gonna wake up over the course of the second half, but just let me know if I need to wake up. If that is the approach in the first 20 minutes of tomorrow's match, we've seen over the course of this season that it's very hard for this team to change approach during a match. An example is, we have never ever seen this team, for example, go 1-0 down and then win the match. We've never seen it. That just puts to mind that it's very hard for this team to change the mental approach to matches and to change the performance in the meantime of the match. This is why, if we base ourselves on a draw tomorrow, and if we step up tomorrow, if we step up in the Olympico, going, okay, a draw is fine. Surely it's fine. I mean, they didn't even score in the first leg. A draw is surely fine. We'll get through the draw. Then, if Vitesse score a goal, we are in the mud because we cannot change our approach. Vitesse will get the best of us, and we'll get to the next round. So tomorrow we need to play to win. We need to play for the fans, to show them that we're capable of winning matches, and once again, winning tomorrow would prepare us the best way possible for the match. Answering the question, if I was asked the same question which Mourinho was asked, which is, do I like the new rule that no longer provides for away goals? No, I don't, because I do think that, for example, matches like Roma-Barcelona a few years ago will never happen again, and that good vibe of a comeback, that good definition of a comeback, I think it's very hard with this rule. So I'm not a fan of it. Right, the last leg. Why the hell did I say the last leg? Right. The last question is about Zaniolo, because as I said yesterday, I wasn't sure if Zaniolo was going to start this match, because Zaniolo needs to physically prepare for the derby, and if he doesn't perform well tomorrow, it can have a knock-on effect on the performance against Lazio. But the question was, are you planning to rest Zaniolo? And this was Mourinho's response. Why Zaniolo? He's already rested for 25 minutes in the Netherlands. Why does he have to rest? Full stop. That puts to mind that Zaniolo will start tomorrow, and that just contradicts everything we said about Zaniolo. I do think Zaniolo, if we have an advantage, if we score in the first half, I really do think that Zaniolo will be rested to prepare for the match, physically prepare, mentally prepare for the match. Especially because, as we said, he's one of those players, if he doesn't perform well in a match, then it's hard for him to perform 3 days later in a very good way. And he needs to already think about the rivalry between Lazio fans and him. But apparently, Zaniolo starting. And this just links to the question before this, that we need to focus on winning, and our only objective tomorrow is to step in the Olimpico and win, and not think about a draw. We're fine with a draw, but we can't think about a draw. We just need to think of winning, defending well, attacking well, shooting, pressing, aggressive tackles, and that kind of stuff. That kind of stuff which is a base when it comes to this sport. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was Mourinho's press conference reaction. These were the most important questions which he got asked. He got asked some more questions. Rui Patricio got asked a couple of more questions, but they weren't that relevant to this match. We've got Vitesse tomorrow. No way we can think about Lazio. After tomorrow we can think about Lazio, but definitely not today, and definitely not tomorrow morning. So I will catch you tomorrow for the live watch-along. Roma Vitesse, the second leg, which ended 1-0 to us in the Netherlands. We need to keep this result and bring it onto the quarterfinals of the Conference League. So I'll catch you tomorrow for the live watch-along at 9 p.m. Italian time, 8 p.m. UK time. And as I always say, figure out where the time zones from wherever you're watching from, pop it in your calendars, and come back, because we've got a potential ticket for the quarter-finals of the Conference League, which is one of the tournaments which we need to try and win this season. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're 20 subscribers away from 2,100 subscribers, so please subscribe, share the link with your families, with your Romanisti friends, and tell them to subscribe, because if they want to learn English, if they want to learn this language and they're Italian, following the team you like, then please subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram at the Roma Guy Lower Score, and like the live stream as soon as it becomes a video as well. And also comment in the comments your impressions and how you think Roma will approach tomorrow's match, and your impressions on Mourinho's press conference. Once again, massive prayers and thoughts out to people in Ukraine as Mourinho started this press